Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Devin Stanford, aka Brevin the Dude. It is another episode of GK's Death Ratio, episode 9. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and I am joined by two of the most wonderful GK brethren. Introducing my beautiful little cherry blossom. It is his time to shine. It is spring. Garrick Bartholomew Eaton. How you doing, baby?
Pretty good, man. I had to go spend money to get one of my tires fixed today because it blew out, which sucked.
Oh,
I
damn.
like literally, I was able to like limp it along for like an extra day with Fix-A-Flat. Because dude, the stupid thing about it is, so I work two jobs and it just so happens that I get paid every week. So I got paid this week, but it's from my supplemental job, so it was a supplemental check, meaning it was a small one. And like I don't want to use all of that like just on new tires, but I had already made plans, literally like scheduled to get my tires replaced because my car has an unusual size tire. Like standard is 15, but my car has a fucking 16-inch wheel and it's stupid. So I have to like the shops pretty much never just have my tires. So I almost always have to get them like sent from somewhere else in the state. And this case, and they were sending them from Salt Lake City. So like they were going to be, just showing up in a few days. And I was like, cool, I'll wait till I get paid and I'll get like my tires done. And literally, like I fucking got into work today, and it like by the time I pulled into work, like it was like already starting to like go flat. And I'm like, God damn it. So I went and replaced just the one that was like the worst. And then on next Monday, when I get paid, I will replace the other three, like I was just originally fucking planning on doing to begin with. But that tire just decided it couldn't wait 6 more days. It had to fucking go out right now.
Question.
So that's what I've been dealing with today.
Does your like local Les Schwab like do free like tire fixes like when there's issues with your tires or anything like that?
Yeah, but in this case, there was really nothing to be done with it, dude. I had like those tires were beyond bald. There's a reason they needed to be replaced, right? Like I have one of them is like got fucking cord showing. It's awful. It's in awful shape, and like I literally like I just was being goddamn lazy, and like the tires have they have basically two lifetimes worth of mileage is on them, and they shouldn't have lasted as long as they did. And I just was lazy and didn't replace my tires, and now I'm having to replace my tires. I'm not being a good car owner, basically. And
It's yeah.
yeah, like I'm just I'm just being neglectful, and like it's just finally coming back to bite me in the ass, and I'm irritated with myself for letting it take this long because I had the money to replace my fucking tires. Like I just never did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's just how it goes, right? You want to use the money to do things for yourself and make your serotonin boost, and besides the things that you just want to I should say have to do, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, no, I should have replaced them a long time ago. Now they're like all blowing out on me, and I'm like, yeah, this is my own goddamn fault. So hey, soon enough I'll have all new tires, but it is what it is. Other than that, it's been a bit of a headache of a day just because I wasn't expecting to having to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, aside from that, just a typical Tuesday, doing the thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been there before, man. I had a tire blowout on me when I was driving down I-84 to work, going like almost 80 miles an hour. That was scary.
Yeah, those are never fun.
Yeah, thankfully it was a back tire and not a front tire when it happened. So, yeah. We are also joined by the man who can't get enough of Dragon's Dogma 2 and is currently playing DJ
I'm not. I literally am not.
Sipfix. Oh, I gotta fix your camera.
I'm here. I'm here, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Not much,
Sure.
dude. Oh my gosh, I gotta stretch you out, brother. I gotta stretch you out.
Hey,
you know
yo.
what I'm saying?
Hey, yo.
Pause.
Dude, allergies are starting to kick up.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my allergies to get to me because like honestly, I usually get it really bad every year. and it hasn't happened yet, but it is more than likely going to happen to me. So I'll be joining you
I
guys.
can feel it starting. 100%.
Yeah, I can hear it starting. Like, in all honesty, I can hear it starting.
Yeah, dude, I'm really stuffy today. I've been sneezing my goddamn brains out.
Yeah. Other than Garrick sneezing his goddamn brains out, how's everything going for you, DJ?
It's been chill. I didn't do much today. Just went to class and went home. Class got canceled. I just found out class got canceled tomorrow because of weather. It's gonna be a ton of fucking rain tomorrow. But what do you call it, dude? I've been getting allergies too, but I think remember Garrick was there. I think for that. I don't know if Devin was, but remember when I was on an episode and I looked stuffy as fuck. Like I started like
I remember this. I do.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that day I was cramming out in the library.
Real time.
So that day I was cramming in the library because I had an exam that day, right? So I was cramming out in the library, and Monday I was also cramming out in the library, and I started like in the library, like my nose started running, and like I had more of an urge to sneeze. I think my library, not just the dust, I think it just has mold. There's mold somewhere because compared to everything else, if it's not sports, LSU does not give a fuck. Okay, so like this library's been here for a long time. Like there's like 6 floors, and like the higher you go, like the quieter things are, and like the more books you'll see. But they barely take care of that building, and I'm pretty sure there's mold somewhere in there because I was having an allergic reaction, and like when I came home that day, well, I wasn't stuffy Monday because I took medicine beforehand, and then I felt better. But yeah, no, I think just my school has like a mold problem or something. It's fucked up.
Yeah. You know, I got this random interesting statistic the other day because you know how that always happens when you're scrolling through like TikTok and stuff like that. Do you know? So obviously it's pretty well known that the US has the highest homicide rate in the entire world right now. It just does. But do you know which place in the US has the highest homicide rate out of every state, country, province in the whole world?
Isn't it Detroit?
Alaska?
No.
Oh, no, yeah, Alaska. Alaska as a state's pretty fucked. It's just crime rate, though,
Or
not
Mississippi.
homicide.
It's either that or Mississippi.
No, not anymore. It's Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, I've been in that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Louisiana has the
I knew Detroit was
dude,
like
I swear to God, I've been telling everybody people fucking die here, bro. And then they're like, no, but what about Chicago? What about fucking this and that? And I'm like, you guys understand the statistic is per capita, right? More people die per person than in anywhere else in America. Like it doesn't matter how small my fucking city is or how low population. It's still a lot. It's still
it's per person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And officially, Louisiana is now statistically the most dangerous place on the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Literally, fucking
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I swear to God, like a few years ago, someone shot. Like it was a domestic dispute. Like 2 houses down from me, someone got shot and paralyzed.
That's crazy, bro. Detroit's literally so sus that it got a goddamn horror movie made out of it. Literally what Barbarian is.
That's a good movie too. I like that movie.
It's a great movie.
But just like every other place in the world, it's just where you are, like where you're located. You know what I mean?
True. That can literally be said about anywhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it's just so much.
Yeah.
Like per capita, it's fucking crazy. Yeah.
I don't think that counts, like war or anything like that. I think that's just solely based off of like homicide crimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like that probably doesn't count. Like
that's a big crime.
Yeah, it doesn't count like third world countries and stuff like that. More than likely,
it's fucked up because our governor sucks ass, dude. Fucking with Jeff Landry, whatever the fuck his name is. You know what? You know what our governor fucking did? You know what we got in the news for? The LSU women's basketball team lost to Caitlin Clark in Iowa, and he slammed the LSU women's basketball team because they didn't stand for the national anthem. That is what he's mad about. Not that we
What a
lost.
dick.
Like he literally went. He had a press conference. He literally scheduled a press conference to talk shit about the women's basketball team after they
What a
lost.
shithead.
Because they're
What a
like,
shithead.
oh, you
Eddie.
should stand for the anthem or for the fucking whatever the fuck, dude.
What
Wow.
a shithead. Well,
Yeah, dude.
guys, we're not talking about politics anymore because today we're talking about Shiver Me Bones and Skulls, we in 3D, and much, much more, because this is Good Kraken's Death Ratio, and we're slashing through the podcast space to be your source for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. If you want to get ahead of the curve, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services wherever you like to watch or listen. But if you've spent all your credits at another shop, that is totally fine. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you have Amazon Prime, tell them DJ.
Prime Gaming.
That's right. You also have Twitch Prime, and we would love for you to give that to us to help us level up our game. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review there. Do it, please. Please look up Death Ratio.
Leave
Leave
a review, please.
If this is a brand new show that we started, we have curated all of our content and turned them all into their own separate shows. You know, you got Death Ratio, you got your Shipwreck show, which we all know that you guys adore and love. If you listen to Death Ratio, there's 99.9% chance you listen to Shipwreck. So please find Death Ratio on here. Tell your friends about it. If you have friends going, what happened to all the Good Kraken's content? Be like, yo, there's separate shows now. Like, you didn't know?
Yeah, we're still here.
We're here.
still
Show them. Show them.
We
Show
out
your
here.
peoples. Show your mother. Show your father. Show your brother. Show your dog. Show your sister. Show your neighbor.
Yeah, show 'em all.
Yeah. Yeah. And do it in that same voice. Even if you don't speak that way, just do it for me, please.
Hey,
For the
mom, I
five-star
got a
man.
podcast you gotta listen to.
Hey, yo, ma. There's an ugly cat outside. I don't like the way it's staring at me. Ma, look
Fucking
at this.
goddamn. Hey, it's the furry little asshole. Garrick
It's my
just picked
furry
up
little
his cat.
asshole.
Hey, look at it.
Audio listeners, Garrick picked up his cat.
Speaking of furry little assholes, we both know
Okay.
that she provides some critical hits sometimes, just like we do. And speaking of all our podcasts being available as separate shows, they are now set to release to the public at 6 a.m. to all your favorite streaming platforms. So please be on the lookout for that. You can find that the following day that each episode airs at 6 a.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. That'll be 9 a.m. for all you East Coasters out there. Ernell comes in. Mama, look at this cat. Guys, the Shipwreck Show, episode 113 is on
That's
all
crazy.
major podcast platforms and YouTube. And if you're looking for more things to watch, if you're up to date but haven't watched our previous episodes, there is almost 300 episodes of the Good Kraken podcast on there that you can watch and dilly-dally with.
Hell yeah. Now
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
available on YouTube.
Yep, only available on YouTube. So find that. You know, do whatever you like, share it, make fun of us, laugh, comment on them. If you find an old episode that you like, tell us what you like about it. You can go to our Discord or you can just leave a comment on our YouTube. We would love for you to do that so we can engage and get to know you all. And also, if there's something we used to do that we don't do anymore and you like it, that's the best way for us to know. So speaking of that,
Oh,
join us
awesome.
in our Discord.
It's awesome. It's episode 114, you silly Willy.
114?
Yeah.
It's 113 episodes, Garrick.
It's not.
I just
definitely
updated it.
not.
I just
114. Oh, I just upped it.
I
Yeah.
is it.
I literally just looked. It says Garrick and Ernell's Magic the Gathering Problem,
114.
episode 114.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It said
114.
113 before I clicked in it, and then it said.
I know, but y'all got y'all. But the thing is like, there's been so many goof ups. I'm constantly second guessing myself on episode numbers
Same
now.
here.
So whenever that happens, I'm just like, I have to be sure.
You want to know what's funny? Is in the show notes it said episode 112, and I updated it to 113.
That's fucked up.
I know.
Yeah,
No.
I believe that. But the schedule,
you know what?
but the schedule of the actual releases say 114, and that's all that matters.
On
Yeah.
Transistor, though, it says we have 113 published episodes, but we're on episode. We were
Yeah,
on episode 1.
That's because Ernell did this thing where one episode actually counted as 2.
That's great. Love
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah.
Freaking nerd.
It all
Yeah.
leads back
Freaking
to Ernell.
nerd.
Knew it. I knew it.
Nerd.
It's literally, I can't remember, but it was like there was one of them. It's like 92 or it's like 91 and 92. It like literally says episode 91 and 92, and I don't remember why.
It's because he never uploaded the AI episode, and that episode was fucking gold.
Oh yeah, dude,
That episode was
that episode's
gold.
lost. It's gone. It's gone.
It's the lost episode. It's the
Literally,
hidden lore
you just
of
had
GK.
to be there. That's the
You just
craziest
had- dude,
fucking
you
thing.
literally just had to be there.
Honestly, like chat popped off on that episode too. That episode was hilarious.
That
That
whole
was-
episode popped off, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
It
I
was
fucking love that episode.
wild.
I don't
We
understand.
didn't even
why we
upload it to
never uploaded
YouTube.
that.
I don't even think we uploaded it to YouTube.
I don't
did we?
understand why we never
No,
did that. That was like one of our
we did
best
nothing
episodes.
with it. We did nothing with it.
Yeah.
Damn.
We did it
that's
live.
lost
Actually, no,
media.
I remember why it didn't upload. It's because
Legit lost
something.
media.
Yeah, because something fucked up on Ernell's computer.
Oh
at the time.
no, because Ernell like died like multiple times during that
Yeah.
episode. I think I remember that. I'm pretty sure.
But it was a whole thing.
Yeah, it was really.
It was a
funny,
great
though.
episode.
Yeah,
It lives on in our minds before we forget about it like 2 years from now.
Right.
he had 2 power surges and the file got corrupted.
That's right. That's what
I
it
think.
was.
I think. I
remember
think
there
it's
was
ti-
something.
Oh yeah, it was really stormy. I think it's time we start investing in those backup power banks for PCs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe like that.
Yeah. Speaking of backup, DJ, I need some backup from you. Can you tell the people what we're heading into next?
Well, brother, I had to pull it up. I actually exited it out.
Wow.
Unprepared.
Hold on. Everybody,
Wow.
pause. Yo, pause. Quick pause. Pause.
Wow.
Time out.
Yeah.
Time out.
This is us.
Yeah,
this is
okay,
us
I'm resuming.
literally delaying the episode to fix DJ's mistake right now in real time.
Yeah, dude, we got
Jamie, can you edit that out, please?
Jamie.
Gross reference.
Can we
Gross
get-
reference? I'm just gonna say it.
Dude, it's literally the podcast, dude. Everybody knows what it
Everyone
is.
know, even if you hate it, you know it. You know what I'm saying?
You know it.
You gotta
Dude,
know it to hate it.
I used to listen to it until he was like, "I love Alex Jones." I was like, no.
Get that shit away from me.
I have never actually listened to like a whole episode. I've only ever just seen clips.
His stuff back in the day was pretty good. Yeah, Ernell says the
Yeah,
same
you wouldn't
thing,
even
same.
say it's pretty meta, but what we're about to go into, we're getting into the meta minute.
I mean, you would say that podcast is meta. It is the literal meta format of a podcast too.
That's true.
What is a
But
podcast?
what we're
This?
doing right now? It's three three douchebags talking into a microphone.
Can we get into the segment?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We are now in the Meta Minute. This is our bite-sized news segment. We cover some brief points of noteworthy games news, such as release dates, delays, seasonal game content announcements, industry event announcements, and more. Who should pay for dinner, the man or the? Okay, Chase. Thank you. Guys, we don't have a whole lot of news because we're waiting for some things to get announced here. But we are going to talk about what's coming to Game Pass this week, as well as games that are releasing this week. I forgot to add the PlayStation Plus update. Could you pull that up for me, one of you guys?
Oh, it's okay. We did.
First-
We just did the monthly game, so we don't need to cover that again.
Okay, perfect. So, for Game Pass, we have Botany Manor that came out today, and that's on Xbox Series XS, optimized Windows PC, and Xbox Cloud Gaming. We also had Kona come to Xbox Game Pass console, and it looks like that's just for cloud and console. And then on the 11th, we are going to be getting actually a really, really good game, a very notable game. Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on the Xbox consoles, including the Xbox One, Windows PC, and Cloud Gaming Game Pass. So yeah, just a few games to look forward to with one big blockbuster AAA there. Let's move over to the games that are releasing this week. That also includes
Is
Botany
anything
Manor.
releasing this week?
Huh?
So is anything really releasing this week? I actually didn't look.
Yeah, there is 5 games that released today, actually.
Oh, okay.
One of
All
them
right.
being Botany
I stand
Manor.
corrected.
One of them being Botany Manor, which that means it is day one on Game Pass. Little indie title.
You
So,
love to see it.
For PC, we had Children of the Sun. So that just came out today. I don't know what that is.
Familiar.
We also got for all consoles, including Xbox One and PS4, Xbox Series XS, PS5, and PC, not including Switch. My bad, guys. But we got Gigantic Rampage Edition today. Then, which I think you were talking about that.
Out.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
It's like a relaunch of like a MOBA hero shooter where you play as like the various heroes while charging up like these gigantic kaiju monster things that fight alongside you from like the edge of the arena while trying to also simultaneously beat the enemies. It's kind of cool.
Interesting. I'm not big into MOBA games. I think I've been pretty vocal about that, but interesting. I like that. I like that kaiju's
they're
kind
hit
of at the
and miss
forefront
for me.
Yeah.
It's a fresh concept. I didn't get the opportunity to play the original game, but I might play this.
Mm-hmm. We also have Inkbound. It is a strategy game that is released today as well on April 9th. And then this is a Larry ass game, this next one. But Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. And it has ducks and coins on the cover art for it. And that released for PC today as well on April 9th.
That does sound like it'd be a Larry game for sure.
Larry ass game, dude.
Have you seen Larry's profile picture on
yes, I have.
Do you know I sent that to
I have.
I sent that to our chat, our little chat that we have, and straight up he made that his profile picture without saying anything. I literally sent it. I was like, this has Larry energy, and it's been his profile picture on Discord ever since. Releasing tomorrow on April 10th, this is a Xander ass game. House Flipper 2 for PS5, Xbox Series S and X. I believe it's already out on PC, but that comes out for the newer generation of consoles that's been out for almost 3 years on April 10th, tomorrow. Probably as the time you're listening to this recording. Then on April 11th, we have Let's Revolution, which looks like it is a strategy puzzle game that is coming out for PS5, Xbox Series XS, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And then on April 11th as well, we have Slave 0X or 10, depending on whether they're using Roman numeral. But this is an action game. This is coming out for PS5, Xbox Series XS,
sounds like a hack and
PS4,
slash.
Xbox One, and PC. And it looks like, so it already came out for PS5, Xbox, PC on February 21st, but comes out for Switch on the 11th. Correct myself right there while we were going along. But yeah, that is the releases for
it's a
this
side
week.
scroller.
Side scroller, hack and slash. Did you play Trek to Yomi?
You know what? I never got around to that one. I didn't mean to skip it. It just kind of happened.
It's a quick burner. It's on Game Pass. It was only like 8 hours to play the game all the way through.
Is it still on Game Pass?
Let me check, but I played that on Game Pass, and I actually really liked it.
I remember catching bits and pieces of you playing it there.
Yeah, I liked it. And it had some challenging moments to it too. So I definitely
Yeah, Trekinomi was not bad.
Yeah, you played it too,
Not
DJ.
bad. Yeah, I played a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A tad bit.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It was a nice zone out game, But yeah, that is going to be all of our news this week for the Meta Minute. Next week we'll probably have some actual stories for you, but I think it's time to go into our next segment. And I'm gonna save some breath for the man here. And I've been turning my pages. I've been going through. I've been looking back on the past of things I've played and things I've done. But I think it's time for us to go through our chapter select. Chapter select.
Chapters like
Yeah, I literally think of like an old school, like a SNES sort of thing every time. That's what I picture in my head
Yeah.
when we talk about this.
Yeah, same. Garrick, I believe you have some hands-on with a game that's been out for a couple weeks now, and I think you're ready to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's been, oh shit, when was its actual fucking release date? That's like the one thing I didn't write down.
Yeah, I'd have to look
February
it up,
something,
honestly,
or
myself.
February 16th. So it has been out almost
Over a
2
month.
months now.
Yeah.
Almost 2 months now. I did come to this game a little late because I wanted to pick it up on sale just because there were some things that I heard about it. And we're gonna get a little bit, and I'm gonna try to break this down a little bit more and give you guys the opportunity to kind of ask questions about things. I'm literally gonna try to do it in like little chunks, and then you guys can ask questions in between.
Mhm.
And if I don't cover anything in what I've got here, you guys can just ask at the end. Just kind of starting off with the game. So this is Skull and Bones. This is a Ubisoft original title. It is a games as a service. It's a live service title. It is focused around naval combat and that sort of like light trade simulator sort of mechanics, and that's kind of like the game in a nutshell. So to kind of get started, the story, it's pirate shit, man. This is not a narrative game. The narrative's pretty unimportant, and it's just a vessel for you to go do pirate things. There is a narrative going on, but like I said, it's pretty much, you don't really need to be concerned with it, but it's not uninteresting entirely if that's something you want to pay attention to. But this game takes place in a fantastical, condensed version of the Indian Ocean, which takes place largely around the coast of Africa and the East Indies. And the map is kind of sectioned into chunks, and there's your starting area, which is like the Red Isle, and then you have the coast of Africa that borders that. And then there is a large, expansive, open ocean area that kind of acts as like your barrier zone between, like the mid, yeah, is like your early game and late game, and then you have the East Indies, which is lots of small oceans comprised of chains of islands, and that makes up a good chunk of your end game map experience. The story is more or less there's two like factions that from the coast of Africa, the Far clan and the Sea people, and they're at war with one another. The French are present, guiding a privateering company called the Compagnie, and you are at odds with them as you are fighting under the leadership of a pirate lord by the name of Skurlock, and you are taking on contracts for him as a privateer to engage in messing with these two warring clans, and also trying to take advantage of the French company while secretly working as a trade contact for New York City. And all while of course taking your own cut for infamy, gold, and glory.
Nice.
So the gameplay. Oh, go ahead. Good. Pause.
So there's like two major factions that you have to navigate your way through. Is that essentially what it is getting out of that?
It starts off that way, but as you're kind of going about, there's quite a few factions. The main story kind of focuses around the Farah and the Sea People, but then it eventually kind of branches out, like to being, like just dealing with rogues and the privateers, and mostly the French. The French are kind of like we're fighting the French right now, and they're kind of like your big bads.
Huh?
The French are the big bads in Skull and
dude,
Bones.
that's right up my fucking alley.
So yeah, but you've also got like various other there's the privateers, which are like privately hired. They're essentially pirate mercenaries, but they were hired by individuals rather than just acting independently. Then you've got like the rogues, and then there's other seafaring groups that kind of populate different regions, and like different regions will have different factions that kind of populate those regions, which carry different goods along various trade routes. And then you've got like the Ungwana. They're like another like seafaring people that operate on like the southern area of the map, and like just on the outer coast of the east of Africa. And so there are various factions that you kind of engage with. There's the rogues, which are literally just pirates that will literally just fight on sight any faction they come across. That sort of thing.
Okay, rad. Oh, continue, please.
Absolutely. So the gameplay, which is obviously this is the shit we really care about when it comes to a pirate game, right? And we're talking about video games like this. It's the gameplay loop. So this game functions as a naval action combat MMO with a little bit of like trade simulator on the side. You work together resources to increase your personal standing by trading with merchants, buying low and selling high value goods in the right regions to the right factions at the right price, right? Engaging in contracts by doing anything from escorting merchants in dangerous areas to sinking rogue ships in the areas to messing with rival factions versus, taking contracts for the Farah to mess with the Sea People, taking contracts from the Sea People to mess with the Farah, defending ships in the open waters while they're doing repairs, that sort of thing, all while also being able to go rogue yourself while plundering every single ship you come across. Every faction can be an enemy if you want it to, regardless of factions loyal or previous loyalties from other missions. Plundering forts and villages along the various coastlines and islands that exist throughout the map, and hunting down merchant colonies, like the dogs that they are, with your either solo or in a fleet of up to 3 friends. That's definitely where gameplay wise this differs from something like Sea of Thieves. This game is an MMO where each person gets to operate their own ship rather than operating as a crew. So you guys are functioning as a fleet to kind of coordinate what you're doing in your in-game activities from there. Those in-game activities are also kind of deepened further once you get into the end game. And you're taking on various contracts like gathering outposts in the game world to fight ships, deliver goods, plunder villages for commodities, right? And then they're further elevated by that end game loop after you've completed the campaign. Those end game activities involve like you going and capturing manufacturers so you can you turn sugarcane into rum, and then basically create your own trade routes and sell those to over the various regions. Engaging in legendary heists and taking on large merchant convoys. Gathering the valuable pirate currency known as Pieces of 8, which they 100% got from Pirates of the Caribbean, and I love that. And gathering that as a material to expend on endgame cosmetics and blueprints at the black market. And, of course, you've got your true endgame bosses, which in this game takes the shape of engaging in seasonal pirate lords and sea monsters. And season 1, it features a a pirate lord by the name of Philip Lepest, and he's like a pirate lord who's basically got like a plague disease that him and his crew are spreading throughout the Indian Ocean. And this season's sea monster is a tylosaur, which is basically a cousin of the mosasaur from Jurassic World. It looks awesome. It's a gigantic flipper gator that's like you're literally is like ramming your ship and like you're fighting a megalodon similar to to Sea of Thieves.
Okay. Now one big question as you're fighting, and traveling the seas and stuff like that and going against other like armadas of ships or singular ships. Now, in classic pirate fashion, can you board these ships?
So, not traditionally. So, this game is almost strictly a naval game. There is some off-ship stuff, but it's basically a vessel for you to go and engage in those contracts and speak with those clans. That's kind of what you're doing. But mostly when you're doing the boarding things, you are literally just making a ship vulnerable, and then you are engaging like a small quick time event, and then it goes through like a little cutscene, and then that you board the ship, that ship sinks, and then you get like a bonus for engaging in a boarding rather than sinking it outright.
So there's no like melee combat play or like gunplay as a pirate.
No, there's no gunplay or like your use of like cutlasses or anything like that, or any sort of like person to person combat. It is solely focused on being like a naval sort of MMO, and it really doubles down on that too mechanically, which I'll talk about in just a minute. And if you guys don't have unless you guys have no other questions about like the gameplay loop.
So to me, this just kind of sounds like a pirate focused world of warships or whatever.
World of Tanks, but with obviously it's got more depth than that because like you're not just engaging in like a match and then you win. Did you guys ever play like the space simulator games like Elite Dangerous?
I've seen it. I haven't.
You know what? I think what was it? There was one that I played. It was on Game Pass.
Star Citizen?
No, not Star Citizen. That game is way crazier. That's essentially what
Star Citizen's got like an insane breadth to it, but if you were to like dial that down into just like the trade economy simulator bit that like Elite and Elite Dangerous has, which obviously is like a space sim, that's kind of what it takes its shape in. And it really doubles down on like this. We want it to be focused on the naval combat, and like the naval combat's going to be the highlight here, and it's done in like a very fantastical MMO, almost RPG sort of way that you progress as far as like that's concerned.
Okay Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that game was that I used to play on here. There was a game that I used to play on PC. It was like kind of like one of the first Game Pass PC games I ever played. I didn't play a lot of it. I'm trying to find it.
Another thing like that I just forgot to mention real quick, just while you're looking for that about the gameplay. It's like because there's so many various factions, there is like a heat or like a wanted system in this game. It does fade out pretty quick just because like you're moving around pretty frequently, but like each faction has like their own like wanted bar, so like you can become hostile with one faction but not necessarily another. But should your cannonball miss and go astray, you could end up getting other factions involved accidentally and that sort of thing. So like you can effectively either not engage in any factions or make all of the seven seas hate your fucking guts.
Yeah. Okay, I found the game. It was Everspace is what I used to play. Which is like a spaceship focused.
It almost same concept but piratey. Like it's got a combat and then like an economy like system kind of woven together, and that's kind of like your general gameplay loop. I definitely see why there were a lot of people that were upset like that it didn't feature like hand-to-hand combat and other things, but it really does. The game delivers on what it said it was going to be, and that's going to like a naval combat game, and that's where it really shines. And like, if you guys are ready, I can kind of get into the mechanics of what that
Yeah,
looks like
please
and
do.
why it's interesting.
Please do.
Just because like I feel like it's really where the game like gives most of its identity. Is like, so it's core naval combat. It's loose and fun. Unlike Sea of Thieves, where you are, you know, functioning as a crew, and it's almost like a simulator where like the ship moves very naturally. You're having to actively move each independent part of the ship. These ships move pretty zippy. Each ship moves, you know, like a lot. It's a lot more responsive than you might expect it to be for its size. It kind of making combat really fun, really loose, and it makes it fast paced and pretty explosive. Quite literally, as you're like sinking ships with various weapons. The ship has MMO classes, like literally down to like your classic MMO designs. There are DPS, tank, and support ships, each offering, you know, differing gameplay from, you know, their varying speeds, maneuverabilities, hull strength, all while also featuring different passives. Like, you know, tanks. Some tanks might have like the ability to brace more. There are DPS ships that focus on ramming the other enemy, while some DPS ships focus on, you know, using fire weapons, or other ships focus on being able to in flood ships easier, or etc. etc. And they all have kind of different various passives, so that when you're doing group play, you guys can kind of coordinate who's going to have what sort of ship to get the most out of that co-op experience. There are 10 different ships on offer at launch, with them having plans to add more. You have full control over your ship's looks and loadout. Each ship can independently have its own loadout, so you can have each ship having its own look. Each ship can be equipped with its own weapons, as long as you've got, you know, the materials to craft those weapons and then equip them to that ship. And like I'm talking like you can literally load this thing for bear. We're talking you've got control over port and starboard, bow and stern guns, right? So you can have you know, demi cannons, which are like, you know, you're rolling up alongside your enemy close quarters and just shotgun blasting your enemies. You've got your typical Culver cannons, which you can use for like your just hull damage. There's tearing ones that do specific things, like, oh, this one excels at, you know, taking out sails, or this is or like this one does increase fire damage and like can catch a ship ablaze, or you've got another ship, or this one can cause flooding damage by aiming at a certain part of the ship, etc., etc. So it allows you to customize how you want to deal with each ship, being able to like have a jack of all trades and being able to have various weapon types on your ship, or being able to really double down and being like, all right, my ship's going to be good at this one thing. As an example, I have a ship right now it's called a Firebrand, and obviously it excels at, you know, applying the ablaze status effect to other ships. So I have like on my bow and stern, I have a fire long gun and a bombardment cannon, which does like AoE damage in like a big arcing area that increases my ability to catch ships on fire. And then I've also got two cannons on either side called a basilisk, which are really good at opening up enemy ships to crew attacks, which can be anything from like your ability to board, throwing fire bombs at the other ships, or hitting them with like a musket blast. And so there's a lot of approachability to combat and how you want to like make your ship really feel like your ship, and coordinating with your teammates to get the most out of like your plundering out of your naval combat. It's really, really exciting there, especially when you're engaging in some of those plundering like factions where, you know, like essentially you go in, you start attacking a village, you take out the guard towers around the coast, and then they're shooting up signal flares, right? And then you and your crew are, you know, dancing around this gulf or this bay or this island, all while trying to stay in and plunder this thing while fighting off enemy ships together, making sure that they're not taking your ass out. and it makes for really interesting and explosive combat. It's really interesting to have to engage and like think about how you want to approach dealing with the sea monsters because they behave way differently than the ships. You know, the different ship sizes have different weaknesses and different armor types, and you have to look and actually use like your scope to kind of gauge what your other enemy ships are equipped with because they have access to all the same sorts of ship types that you do, and you know they can equip their ships with various weapons as well, whether that be you know a ballista to catch your ship on, or like a fire thrower to catch your ship on fire, or auxiliary ballistas to take out your sails. DJ.
So you're saying like that this kind of combat with the ships, is it like very similar to like War Thunder or World of Tanks in that aspect of like you choose a ship, like there's different types of models and like you can fit it
Yeah,
with different things?
absolutely, yeah. So just like as an example of some of the various ships that are available from the start, you start like on a very small ship. It's called a dhow. It's essentially like a 3-person barge. It's not useful for combat. You can't go into open seas with it. But what you can do with it is you can hunt alligators and hippos and sharks along the coastlines. And because you're using that ship, that passive of the hunter allows you to gain special materials that you can only do on hunting quests, right? And then you've got other ships where it's like the Badar, where it's a small DPS ship, but it's only got 3 guns as opposed to you know being able to have some other more gun slots like some bigger ships. But this ship has like a low hull damage, but it's really fast and it excels at dealing ramming damage to other ships to cause flooding. Or you know, there's as an example, like one of the tank ships, it's just that you get access to is called a Hulk, and like that when you brace against enemy ships, you know you've got an increased stamina against that, allowing you to take more damage when you push yourself in between enemy ships and your allies to try to you know keep them
Oh,
afloat.
so there's also like buffs and stuff
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
each. Okay.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
like there's support
Interesting.
ships that you know when you use the support ships, you know like the cutter that you get example as an example is the first one that you get available. Uh, we basically like when you're using like your repair kits and stuff, some of that repair kit with gets used on your allies within 100 meters, so you can help keep them alive. Down to them actually even having repair weapons and repair cannons that you can use on your ship. Like it's got like a little lore reason. It says it shoots like an expansive pack of goo, and you basically shoot it at your enemy's ship, and it expands on contact. You know, like sealing up holes in your ally's ship, helping them repair damage on the fly. So you can actually play a healing role in this game as for end game content, like being like a full support, like just keeping your friendly ships alive while they do the sinking and the boarding.
Interesting. And now, with all that being said, and obviously, that was actually going to be my next question. So it is very MMO like. So it has a party system, and is it very PvP based like everywhere, or is it like PvP areas that are zoned out and PvE mostly? Like, how does that
So
work?
so the game has a really most in content can pretty much be engaged in with PvP if you want to. There are plenty of events like Cutthroat or Hostile Takeover where you're like trying to steal outposts from various players, where it's like 3 or 4 ships will show up, and then it's a free for all to see who can take that outpost first, and then that now outpost belongs to you and it's manufacturing rum for you, right? Or you've got Cutthroat Cargo where you sail to an area and a bunch of ships have been sank, and you guys are now battling it out to see who gets to keep that cargo at the end and sail away with it safely. But each time you set sail, you have the option to just simply toggle a PvP flag, which means that you will be able to engage with any other ships that also have a PvP flag toggled, regardless of where they're at in the world. Of course, like when you're at like certain outposts and like pirate dens and stuff, they have like perimeters that act as safe zones, so you can't just sink everybody's ship when they're at port. But like you, as long as other people have PvP engaged, you are free to do that. If from what I've noticed, not a lot of people use those PvP flags, but you are more than welcome to just freely engage in PvP content, which rotates on the map really frequently.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Now, do they have a limit on how many people that can be in your party?
Yes. So this does use the smaller 3-party size. So you and up to 2 friends for a party of 3 to get together. So you can functionally have, a tank, a support, and a DPS if you wanted to round your party out as such. I've done a lot of co-op play with my brother. He's been playing on Xbox, and it's being able, even with just 2 players, we've basically felt like we have been able to tackle all the content at our level within reason. There's definitely been a couple of times where we've gotten into ourselves like crazy high wanted levels, and of course we got sank because we got ourselves into a bad situation, and there's like 6 warships just sinking our asses. It happens, right?
Okay.
But like as long as you're building your loadout and communicating with your friend, like it feels really balanced at that 2, that even with 1 extra person or having a full party. What's nice though is if you are a solo player, you have like when you go do like bigger PvE content roles, like plundering higher level forts, or going to do Lepes, the Pirate Lord, or going to hunt the sea monster. Once you get to those areas, you can wait on the outskirt for them and use a feature called Call for Help, and it will literally ping everybody else on the fucking server that's nearby, and they can just come to you and help if they want.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Sick.
already answered another question I had. It was going to be if the game was crossplay or not. Is it crossplay just console to console, or does that also include PC?
It is full crossplay, full cross progression. So like basically you can, if you have it on multiple consoles, or you can hop around freely. Like, which is just cool for me because like I don't necessarily want to travel with my PlayStation 5, but my Series S is way more portable, and I own that on there as well. So I can play that there, and
You bought the game
Ubisoft
twice?
is actually one of, I do own the game twice. Yes.
Here we
Well, I
are
game share
talking
with
today.
my
How
I
egregious!
game share with my brother. Well, the thing is I do it. I buy games on my console for my brother to use.
Mhm.
But the thing is I only ever buy them when they're on sale. So like
Mhm.
I might have owned this game twice, but I've only paid $70 for it.
Oh, overall.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah,
Overall, that's
overall.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
good.
I remember. Just kind of side note, mainly just because this is a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft's Gold and Ultimate editions have been super egregious. But like we talked earlier today about the Ultimate edition of Outlaws being $130. Did they do something
Yeah, that
similar with
shit's
this?
I didn't really. They did have like a gold edition, which gave you, I think it was like a little bit of early access. If I recall, don't quote me on that. It's been 2 months since the game's release.
Mhm.
And of course, like I believe if you bought the premium, you got like free access to the like the first season pass, or the smuggler's pass, I think they call it in this game.
Mhm.
So there is that, but no, because this is a live service game where like it's not gonna have like a just traditional content pack. It just kind of had like, I think it just had like your 60 or your 70, and then like your $100 version, and then of course it's got a $10 seasonal pass that you can buy. Or with a free pass available to it. I just have the free pass available right now, and the way they're actually doing their season pass is kind of interesting. So rather than just being like a track you just run across for like forever and ever and ever, there's 3 sections to it, and it's like the gunmaster, the quartermaster, and like one other thing that I can't remember right now. And they have like the quartermaster sells more like focuses on like furniture for your ship, and then like the shipwright focuses on like new weapons for your ship, and then like the gunsmith, blah blah, except and like you can kind of pick and choose which part of the track you want to focus on first. So if you're a casual player and you're not going to complete like the whole season pass, you can be like, I know I just want the cosmetics and shit that are offered in box 2, so you can just do those 20 and not have to do all 90 of like the season pass levels. But if you do happen to finish it, they're like, oh yeah, here's like a little bonus at the end for completing the whole ding dang thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of it's definitely a different season pass model that I've seen in the past. It's definitely, and it does have like a premium track too, but I didn't notice that it just offers like additional cosmetics as far as I can see, and I think that's like your typical 15 instead of 10. And then of course it does have paid ship cosmetics, very very similar to that of Sea of Thieves.
Okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if I have many more questions for this game personally, but DJ, do you have anything else that you're curious about with the game?
I just wanted to ask before you give your final thoughts, Garrick. You know, we were among the many who chat on this game. We joke about the quadruple A game status of Skull and Bones. Went through development hell and stuff like that. Um, as someone who played the game, experienced it fully, what are some like misconceptions? Were the criticisms like warranted that you saw were really warranted, or and what are some misconceptions that people have towards this game, and does it deserve it?
Some of them, yes, absolutely. There are like this is obviously like the biggest one being like Jesus, you should have never said this was a quadruple A game. Like
Yeah,
it's just like one
that's
of
a
those
bad
false
PR move.
expectations
That's a terrible
that
PR.
like you should have never done. It sets players. It literally sets your game up for failure when you do stuff like that. And of course, like that left a bad taste in people's mouth. A lot of people, I think, were really, really expecting this to be very similar to Black Flag. And while you can 100% see the DNA of what Black of like and like the core like gameplay of like Black Flag's naval combat, they have done their best to try to deliver this as like a solo experience where like this is a naval combat game and it's going to be an action MMO and it's going to service that fan base way more than it's going to service your ARPG players and fans like that of Black Flag. So a lot of people going into it expecting that and expecting to be able to board ships and use your cutlasses and have pistols and and like that sort of thing like you're able to do in Sea of Thieves, right? It's just offering a different kind of pirate experience, right? Like it's different than Black Flag. It's different than Sea of Thieves. And I think that's honestly okay because I like all of those as pirate games for different reasons. Like I really feel like Black Flag gives you the freedom to experience as being like an individual pirate with a privateer with a cool narrative tied to it that makes you feel like a pirate. Sea of Thieves is great at being a crew simulator, right? Getting your friends together, everybody having a role, engaging in an adventure, and acting that out like as in your respective roles. This game is an action MMO. It's fast paced. It's zippy. It's quick. You're sailing the seven seas. You are shooting down other ships. You're gathering your loot. You're taking that loot. You're upgrade your ship by buying blueprints. Hunting down other monsters, gathering wrecks by doing various mini games around the map by gathering materials. Right, like it's a very MMO premise. So I think people just wanted it to be one thing because everything about the game's perspective to me told me that it was going to be an action, at the very least, an action RPG-esque game. Like I was not expecting this to be like a pirate simulator. I didn't get that vibe, and like from that respect, I do feel like this game wholeheartedly delivers on what it actually sets out to do as a product. With that being said, it is 100% not a quadruple A title. There's a lot about this game to kind of gripe about, with like the end game content and just kind of being a heightened version of some of the stuff that you're seeing in a base game, right? Like that's kind of a pitfall that a lot of these games as a service falling into. This game not anywhere near as bad as Suicide Squad, of course, but it does have some repetitiveness to it. There's one gripe that I heard constantly that I do not agree with. The biggest one being this game is just a fetch quest simulator. You're a goddamn cargo thief. What the fuck did you think you were going to be doing? You are sinking ships, collecting resources, delivering those resources to the highest seller, rinse and repeat. You do that in Black Flag. You do that in this game. You do that in fucking Sea of Thieves. That's the pirate life. That's
You think every game has a fetch quest? I'm pretty sure.
Right, like
Call of Duty is
nowadays.
just like just
right, like we just need to accept that that's just part of the DNA of being like, especially a game that has a trade simulator economy, right? Of course you're going to be delivering things. Of course you're going to be running around the map and like you're going to need to sink specific ships for specific materials or go to a specific region for specific materials and then deliver it back. DJ.
Yeah, so Garrick, so would you say that since it is different from what people expected, does it do enough to carve out its own space for itself within this kind of like, I guess, pirate genre? You know,
Currently, yes. There is some concern. Like the game does have a every time I log on, I see other players. I played Suicide Squad for almost 100 hours now, and I've never played with a single random, not one. I've only ever played with one other person because nobody plays that game online in matchmaking. I literally have to play with a friend to play with another person. I see players all the time. Even if I don't see them on the open oceans, I see them at port in person. I see their ships at port. They're everywhere. So right now, this game is absolutely alive. I see players constantly in the various zones. There's various ships of various sizes in the end game zone. There are various ships of various progress and sizes in the early game zone. It definitely feels healthy right now. The problem is the game suffers from like really, really infuriating bugs, like not being able to interact with quest givers. Especially when I've just sailed 45 minutes across an open ocean, fighting my fucking way tooth and nail, only to not be able to complete the thing. That can be super, super frustrating and damaging to an experience, right? Disconnects. Those disconnects can impact your gameplay experience in this, where like sometimes you're carrying like live event rewards, and if you get disconnected during that live event reward, that reward now just gets dropped into the open ocean for another person to pick up, and that can really sour, that session, right? And so like it's not without its bugs, it's not without its problems, and I just feel like right now the game needs to work to add more endgame content and diversify that trade simulator portion and define it more. As long as it continues to do that and continues to expand its breadth of content with each season, which it does appear to like it's going to be doing. The only thing I'm kind of interested to see is right now we've got like this sea monster and this pirate lord. So I don't know if those will go away with each season and they will rotate seasonally, or if it will be added to a pool, or then there'll be like a reset. Obviously, we're not to season 2 yet, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like as far as their seasonal content loop. But as long as they can maintain their content pace, I feel like this game actually really does carve out a good place for itself. It deserves to be, a decent pirate game. There's a lot of the criticisms that I do understand. The game's not perfect. It's not as smooth as it should be. It's a beautiful game, but like there's a lot of problems with the questing mechanics that can really get in the way when accepting contracts and doing those contracts is so integral to the way you approach every endgame content. Even if the activity is different, you're picking up that contract, and not being able to grab that contract or deliver that contract immediately diminishes that experience. Right? Because you're not being able to finish the thing you just spent in-game time doing. But on the flip side, like as a naval combat simulator, absolutely peak. I love upgrading my ship. I love decorating my ships, naming my ship, going out and sailing the seven seas, exploring the beautiful map, engaging with various factions, which all have different techniques, different AIs, different weapons and sorts of things, and resources they all carry. Going out, looking at the big grand map, and being like, all right, I've got this stuff in my cargo hold, and I know that this region over here's got this stuff in high demand right now, and then going off to go make a smuggling run, right? All while do a pirate shit along the way. It deserves its own place. I just hope that Ubisoft is willing to listen to its community feedback wholeheartedly. Otherwise, it's not going to keep the MMO fans that have decided to stick with this game, because the ARPG fans have already left because it's not what they wanted.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, and I was just getting you to reiterate it. The whole reason why I'm not interested in playing the game is the fact that it doesn't have any action parts to the game, such as like boarding a ship and being a physical pirate. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, and that's okay, because I think that's what's great about that is we have a game that offers that exact experience, right? That's why we have Sea of Thieves. We can go do that in Sea of Thieves, and I believe that that's awesome. That's super awesome, because I love Sea of Thieves for being able to be like that cruise simulator and boarding those ships, whether it's a ghost ship or an enemy ship, and doing all of those things, physically digging up the buried treasure. I love that experience. But there's just something really satisfying about like just loading your ship up with just the biggest, baddest fucking cannons you can get on it, and literally just arcing your mortar shots like hundreds of meters away and just raining hell on like a fort, like and like having ships just start sailing out of nowhere, and you're like trying to like just like the whole time. It's like it can be really exciting, and the moment to moment gameplay definitely really shines in this game, and it's got its own space for that. But I also wholeheartedly respect that if you wanted a deeper experience from that, this game ain't for you.
Yeah. And like I wanted a deeper experience that is provided more so, even more than what Sea of Thieves has to offer. Like I almost visualize like you're controlling a crew and a ship by yourself. It'd be cool during the boarding process if it did something similar to like Battlefield, when you would play a single player Battlefield and you move as like a battalion. If your character dies, it just moves you to another character, and you just play with that new set of skills. Like something like that would have been like really cool, in the sense like you're still controlling the crew and everything yourself, and you can like cycle through them, you know what I mean? But I know we've spent a lot of time on this already. So Garrick, what I do want to know is if people should play this game and what your in progress review of it is.
Honestly, it's hard for me to recommend it just because I feel like it is, I think it's a genuinely good live service title that will probably have a healthy community as long as like the content stays fun and fresh. It'll be interesting. But like there's just so many people that aren't really sure if a naval combat MMO is something that they want to play, right? That it's really hard for me to recommend them, because like at the end of the day, like like you just have to really want to play this game and really really enjoy like the aesthetic of being like a pirate from a naval combat perspective, and so that makes it a little niche, right? And so if you're not 100% sure on that, no, I wouldn't recommend it. Like for me, even right now, like while I'm personally having a great deal of fun with it, this is still an absolute wait for sale. Like don't buy this at full price. There's just too many people that aren't sure about what kind of game it really is, and like whether or not they want to spend a good amount of time on it, that it's really hard for me to recommend for like, yeah, every gamer should check this out. If you're super into pirates, if you love that aesthetic and that sort of genre of gameplay, this has a unique perspective. It's got its own space that I think it will exist in. And if there's one thing that Ubisoft is really good at, is they don't fucking shut their games down. Nobody can play this fucking game and the servers will still be alive. Like look at For Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 20 people that play that. Actually, I'm curious.
Yeah, exactly. There's not like, it's got a smaller player base, so that like they definitely at least have the resources to keep throwing their money at their titles, and they've put a lot into For Honor over the years. So I have no doubt that this will do the same. Like Absolutely. Like this is Ubisoft. They're gonna do the Ubisoft thing. Division One's fucking servers are still active, man. Like it's going to be around. But if you're not sure, just wait until it's on sale, folks.
Okay. And what score would you give it?
Wait for sale.
Wait for sale. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I honestly, if I ever do try it, I'm gonna wait till it comes to Game Pass because Ubisoft does put their games on Game Pass. So.
Oh yeah, I think it would
Yeah.
definitely. Honestly, if you really wanted to try it, pay the $15 and play it on and do it on Ubisoft Plus on your PC or on your Xbox.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. I think it's time for us to move into our final segment, and this will probably go a little quicker than we usually do it, but
Yeah, sorry.
it's all good. It's all good. Speaking of that, though, Garrett, can you tell the people what we got next?
Absolutely. In the words of the great Benedict Cumberbatch, we're in the
Cumberbatch.
endgame now.
Yeah, we're in the end game, guys.
Endgame now.
Guys, this is our headlining segment. I just talked like Garrick for a second earlier. I don't know if you caught that earlier. You said Lysturtis title.
Oh, dude, my mouth never agrees with my brain. I'm so used to it.
Dude,
Yeah.
honestly, same. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah. I just did the same thing. It's all good. So our headlining topic tonight, guys, is the Wii U and the 3DS stores are gone. They're done. They're shut down. They're no longer a thing. You can no longer download or purchase anything from those shops, the eShop on either consoles. Now, they've officially closed it. We're going to talk about what that means for game preservation. We're going to talk about what stores have already closed prior to this because they are not the first to do it, and who's going to close theirs next. And we're going to talk about how this affects us as gamers and what it means for the games that we have spent money on that we're supposed to own a license to but can no longer get. So, I just wanted to start off here. They officially closed this down on March 27th. So just a little over a week and a half ago, you were no longer able to download anything on the Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS slash 2DS or 3DS XL. So, which, makes me a little sad because I got the news right when it happened. And I still have my 3DS, which I actually enjoy a lot. And I got the Smash Brothers one right here. Got it in a nice case. And I've actually found out recently this is worth a lot of money too, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
But
I just have like the blue XL, like the traditional one.
I had the Legend of Zelda XL,
The gold?
the gold one.
that
I
one's
used
worth a lot of money too. That one's worth.
I
a lot
know,
of money
dude. I gave
now.
it to my cousin in Vietnam, so
Damn.
Mistakes were made.
it's probably
Yeah.
sold for parts already, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. But I was doing a little research on this and just kind of looking at what stores have already shut down. And if we remember, back when GK was just starting, Sony actually shut down a bunch of their stores. The PS3
Yeah, they did.
store, the PSP, and the PS Vita were all shut down in the summer of 2021. So you can no longer download anything on those platforms at all. I understand this is my personal outlook here. I understand that companies have to allocate resources and stuff like that, and things cost money to run. But we're talking about multi-million-dollar / billion-dollar companies that are just shutting off content to people that they have made purchases for, but not just for video games, but also for movies and music and other applications that they have paid money for through these things. How does that make you guys feel? DJ?
I'm very concerned because I'll just say that I don't know how much it costs to like have that storefront up. You know what I mean? For these consoles, like in the space of the topic, with like the Wii U and 3DS. I think it's weird. Like it's not the Nintendo eShop, right? It's not the same thing. They have their own storefronts, right? Those two consoles.
Well,
So
they've
it
always
is the
been called
eShop,
the
but it
eShop.
was just the servers. So essentially, what have effectively happened if they've closed the digital storefronts completely, as well as all online services for all games. So functionally, what's occurred is like if you haven't previously downloaded something to your Wii U or 3DS before yesterday, April 8th at like noon, I think. You basically can't download that anymore. And furthermore, as of yesterday, all online services are shut off. So even if you own that game and that game is installed to that console or to that handheld, if it is an online only game, those services are not available. Like I remember there was actually a
So,
big post about it from Monster Hunter. They were just like, "Hey,
oh
because
yeah,
there was a slew of Monster Hunters that got released on the 3DS family. I think there's like 4 or 5 different ones, and they're like, "Hey, every single one of these games will no longer be available for any of our players to play, and we have zero control over it online."
that's that it's concerning, man. Because, um, dude, like at least in other forms of media, like if it's a movie or it's music, there is or was, if you still had the hard copy, you just needed something to play it on, you can play it and you own that. Um, we live in an age where streaming is the main thing and live services are a hell of a thing in video games right now. It really sucks, and it's concerning that we don't necessarily own our games anymore. Even ones that we thought we would own forever because they were on consoles that had discs, like actual disc drives, and we had the case and everything. And now they can, and any of these companies can be like, no, actually, we are shutting everything down here. If it requires an online connection, you cannot play.
Right? Like imagine having Overwatch. Like you have like a disc copy of
Mhm.
Overwatch. That doesn't like there's fucking nothing to do in that game. Single dip. There's zero single player
Yeah.
content. But you own it, it's yours. But the second you plug that disc in, it's just like can't connect to server because the console's online like software has been shut off. That's bullshit.
So
That's awful.
if they shut off the online services, that means you can't patch the game either, right? If you needed it, like
Correct.
to
Nothing.
patch the game.
So
Nothing
basically, like if you had an
internet-based.
older game that you had previously installed that it might have received a bunch of content patches, but you didn't auto update or it didn't whatever, like whatever version of that is set to whatever it is.
Oh.
Say you downloaded a game and like that version of it's got a game breaking bug on that version, and you can't get a patch, that's game breaking forever. It's just stuck that way. That cartridge is fucking borked.
That's crazy, dude. That's insane. I would at least think they would keep that up to, like, I don't know, or I feel like, I don't know. Call me crazy, guys. If this comes off as crazy or stupid, but I think this shouldn't be a problem, like, at all. I mean, well, of course, as a whole, it shouldn't be a problem. But I'm saying that, like, let's take the current console generation right now, PS5, Xbox Series, wherever the fuck, and the Switch, right? Currently, so each of them have their own, like, operating software, and each of them have their own storefront, right? Right.
Mhm.
I just don't understand, like, if it's all the same storefront, right? Like, isn't it just enough for these consoles just to connect to the internet and access that same storefront? Like, why do they have specific servers for this? Why isn't the shop running on these set of servers and that's it? You know what I mean? Like, why is it specifically, oh, this is for the Switch? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I and like this will be for the Switch too. Why isn't it all just for the eShop? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how that works.
There's
technically.
there's probably some logistical like tech thing to that. I'm
Right.
guessing that we don't understand. But like at the end of the day, like you feel like there should at least be a modicum of effort put forth to like dedicated to preserving what your fucking customers have spent money on.
Yeah.
I
like you know.
oh, go ahead, DJ.
I was just about to say, like, we've been paying, like, I get it. We've been paying $60-$70 for a while. Like now right now we're paying $70. Like we can't own these games anymore, and also for games that aren't $70, like double A games or indie games that maybe lack the support to keep their own servers up, have to rely on PlayStation, Xbox, or Microsoft to like loan out some server space, or whatever, what have you, and like they can't do it because it's shut down or like it's too expensive. Like I just it's tough. You're gonna what were you saying, Devin?
I was gonna say, at the very least, it would make sense to me to shut down the purchasing options on these storefronts. Like you can no longer purchase games, but I think you should still be able to have access to your library.
100%.
Yeah.
I if it's a big money issue, I'm kind of 50-50 on the online access to like multiplayer, because I know it can cost a lot of money to run some of those. And I'm only playing devil's advocate on that feature, but I feel like people should always have access to something that they have paid for. And I don't think that should ever disappear when it comes to these games. Because we know Sony isn't doing it, Nintendo isn't doing it, and Nintendo is especially greedy about it because they look for every emulator source that they can get their hands on and find out who or make them, and they personally make sure they're shut down, even for games that you can no longer buy on current systems or anywhere. They just make it so those IPs aren't available.
Nintendo's legal team snipes anything, even like fan made games that don't cost any money. Like don't like people don't pay for it. Like they just want to download and play like a fan, like unofficial Nintendo fan made game that features some characters. It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
But I'm not an expert on copyright law, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Garrick.
I think one of the things that like definitely bothers me, like not even just obviously like this we've obviously made the point over the years, like when it comes to just like media preservation, that this practice bothers us, whether it's video games or films, right? But I think one of the things that really chaps my ass, like even more so, especially on the Nintendo side of things, is these motherfuckers, like their hardware is so fucking difficult to get a hold of secondhand. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. And you want to know why? Because they choose physical media formats that are fucking impossible to replicate, dude. You can't find GameCube games because literally they were these teeny tiny discs. These teeny tiny discs, man, for no other reason that Nintendo patented and chose to design in this way, right? The same thing with like the Switch cartridges or the 3DS cartridges that predated those. Like they literally, like once those are gone, they're gone. And it is cartridges are one of the easiest forms of physical game media to lose, destroy, like they just go MIA. And the fact that the 3DS had such a long life cycle, right? For like as far as handheld,
yeah, dude, the fucking going, things were like the square little fucking in the back. Yeah, dude.
Think about all of the Pokemon games that people just fucking lost access to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you keep it in a case just like that. Devin has a case on the camera. He has a 3DS case.
Yeah, 3DS exactly. Game. And if you don't have one of those,
the airport, dude, and it's gone, dude.
It's gone. 20 games out the window, literally poof, forever.
Dude, your dog could swallow a 3DS cartridge, dude. Yeah.
Honestly, right now with everything that just shut down, this is like gold. This is gold right now in the gaming market, which is insane.
Because you've got the physical cartridges. Like the price of those cartridges are now just going to go up even further secondhand, which sucks. Which sucks because literally getting anything
doesn't get that fucking money.
Dude. No, you're literally just paying some dude who literally happens to own it.
Some some fuck from
100% in
fucking
their
Montana,
pocket.
dude.
Every time you
Some
go,
fuck from
yeah,
Montana.
every time you go to GameStop and you buy a 3D and you buy a fucking DS cartridge for $60 because it's a Pokemon one. Because the Pokemon ones are
They
Pokemon
never go
and
on
Legend
sale,
of Zelda.
bro.
Pokemon
They
and Legend
never
of
go on
Zelda
sale.
cartridges are about to become so fucking expensive.
Yep.
Dude, and Nintendo never put shit on sale ever.
Yeah.
Mario
Ever, I
cartridges
swear to
too.
God.
So
Dude.
let's
Smash
see what I
Bros,
got in
Monster
here.
Hunter.
Let's see what I
Still
got
like
in here.
40 to $60, dude. Fuck.
Zelda Majora's Mask 3D.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
dude,
that's
3DS, man. That's crazy
Yeah.
because you literally have to play that physical because the version available on the fucking Switch is the shitty 64 version.
Yep.
dude.
Bravely Default.
Yeah,
Yeah, Brave
that's
Little
another
Fall.
one,
Oh
man.
my God, great one.
Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
So
good
That
good.
one's
game.
good too. Banger.
Here's
Banger.
one that was slept on, but is actually a really good game. And it is a Sora title, but Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance only
Yeah, that's
Game- I
released
love
on
Dream
the
Drop
3DS.
That's going for
I
like
just love Kingdom
500 or
Hearts.
something.
Pokemon Sun,
Right?
Yeah.
Paper Mario Sticker Star, very good game.
Yeah, that's great
Oh,
game. Banger.
here's my most treasured 3DS game. Fire Emblem Awakening.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
dog.
hitter. Oh, Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Mega Ruby. Yeah.
Dragon Quest 8.
Yeah,
what do
Yeah,
we got in
dude.
here?
A Fire Emblem Awakening cartridge is still $45.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna go up now.
And
It's gonna go to the
go up.
moon, brother. Moon.
Yeah.
Dude, 5 years from now, that thing's gonna be worth like $500. But then again, inflation, it's like it'd be like fucking. $20.
5 years from now, $500 is gonna be like $20.
Yeah, yeah. But-
I so like obviously I was doing more research into like online stores and things that are shutting down and stuff like that. And I found out that the next console to lose its online storefront and connectivity is actually going to be the Xbox 360. There are some
Damn, dude,
caveats to that.
Xbox now.
Dude, that's gonna be. I feel like the internet's gonna catch fire that day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an 18-year-old console, and
Yeah.
it will cease its online operations on July 29th, 2024. So there's still a
damn,
little
sure.
bit of time. You got like 3.5 months, but like
Dude, 3.5 months. Dude, think about that. 3.5 months. The Xbox 360 is officially like dead.
I
Like,
think I'm gonna
officially
fire mine
dead.
up. I think I'm gonna fire mine up and download every game that I can to it. Honestly,
your
because
faves.
it's sitting on the other.
I still have
it's
physical
sitting right
discs.
there.
I have Just Dance. I have a Connect. Like,
Dude, I
Yeah,
do too.
dude,
I
right?
have a box full. Like I have a huge box full of physical games, but I also did a lot of online purchases. Now here's something else though. I feel like Microsoft is doing something that the other companies are not doing when it comes to preservation of their content and your purchases that you have made. Let me scan through this. So anything that you have purchased, it's not going to change or affect your ability to play Xbox 360 games or DLC that you have already purchased. So they're going to let you still do that on the console. So your licenses and stuff like that are not going to be disrupted because the online services are no longer
it's
there.
not like scorched earth like Nintendo.
or PlayStation.
Dude, and the thing is, it's like Nintendo has zero backwards compatibility or cross compatibility between any of their stuff.
Because they switch it
Yeah.
every
They
every
change
time they
fucking
did,
formats every time.
Yeah, last time they did backwards compatibility was with the first
DS
Wii.
to 3DS.
No,
with
no,
the first Wii. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the Wii, you were able, very first gen, you were able to play GameCube games on it, and it even had a separate slot for GameCube memory cards and controllers.
I remember that.
But the other thing they're gonna do though is they did state that any games that you've bought, any movies or anything or TV shows that you've purchased through the 360, because the movie and TV apps are no longer gonna work on the 360. All of that stuff will still be available for your Microsoft account on any of the Xbox consoles moving forward, as well as the Xbox One, the Xbox Series consoles, and your PC. So all those purchases will be tied to your Microsoft account, so you can still have access to all of that when you
See,
go to other
that
platforms.
makes way more sense from a preservation standpoint. Also, it's you want to know what you can't do? You can't fucking play a PlayStation 3 game on your PlayStation 5. You can play a motherfucking 360 game on your Series X or S though. You can go 2 generations back. As shit, you can play regular Xbox games on your goddamn X or S if you've got it, if you've got the license or you've got it available. And like, there's a couple of those that are even available just via fucking Game Pass.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like when people have the conversation, like, why do you have a Series X with a disk drive if you never use it? It's, well, you can put all your old media in there and it will still play it. It will still play it.
Runs it just fine.
You know what's crazy? You put a 360 game in that bitch, and it switches
Fires
over.
right up,
does a 360 start screen with the little swish, and then you get the blades and everything again. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool
because that's how digital media preservation should feel, and that's how it fucking should go. Thank God for you, Microsoft. Do fucking better, Nintendo.
Yeah. And Microsoft may not do everything perfectly, but at least they are still
They're trying to respect their fucking consumers.
Yeah, they continue to prove that they are consumer friendly and respect our purchases and our time. Even if it's something we never really play again, we could, if we ever, just get the light bulb and you want to feel nostalgic. Yeah, I'm going to put Crimson Skies in my Xbox Series X, and I'm going to play a game that came out over 20 years ago, one of the first Xbox games I ever played. I can do that. Guys, unless you guys have anything else to say regarding this, I think we damn well covered this and gave some pretty good opinions.
We got it.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Guys, please join our Discord. Let us know what you feel about games preservation, and if you feel like you missed out with the recent shutdown of the eShop on both the Wii U and the 3DS/2DS. And let us know if your gripes, or even show us your physical media collections that you have for your consoles. I would love to see people's collections, honestly. Like, straight up, if you're listening to this you're in our Discord, show us what you got. I want to see what you got. I love admiring people's setups. I really do. I have a copy of Final Fantasy VII in its jewel case, the OG PlayStation 1, right there at my fingertip if you see it.
I see it.
I got lots of hidden things, riding around there. But guys, let's talk about our schedule for the rest of the week. Thursday, we're doing another episode of Splash Damage. Finally.
Splash Damage.
Where Garrick and DJ will be playing Lightyear Frontier. This is a new addition to Game Pass. This was a day one Game Pass game, and they'll be streaming it right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. Get ready for some robots, get ready for some farming, get ready for some simulation. You'll find it here. That'll be at 7 p.m. West Coast time and 10 p.m. East Coast time. Friday.
I'm excited
for another. Oh, dude. Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be really cozy, and it just looks kind of like, I love, I like a good, unique concept.
Yeah. I actually started looking at it and I was like, okay, I might want to play this a little bit. So I might end up playing that with you after the fact, because that night and this Friday, for another episode of 20,000 Films Under the Sea, Ernell and I believe DJ, you were going to be there too, right?
I believe so, yes.
Perfect. Yep. Perfect. We are reviewing the new A24 film, Civil War, and that will be a spoiler-free review. That's right. We're going to watch Nick Offerman be a piece of shit president, and we're going to see how that affects the U.S. as the conflict between the Western Front and the United States of America. That's going to be an interesting movie. I don't know how I'm going to feel after that. I'm pretty sure my anxiety is going to go through the roof. It's election year right now.
I feel like I'm going to laugh so hard because it's going to be shit.
You think it's going to be shit?
Dude, when we announced this, when we were talking about it, when it was announced, dude, Ernell said, I have a stinging feeling it's going to be great. And I said, it's about to be the stupidest movie. I think it's most pretentious bullshit I'm about to watch. But, and I want to just be the heel, just to be the hater. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I think it looks stupid. I think this concept of I mean, however possible it might be of California and Texas seceding from the United States, I think it's stupid. I think
Yeah.
it's dumb as fuck.
I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50 on it. I think this is going to be the most
Should be a
7 out
good
of 10
review
ass
then.
movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
they're blowing my socks off.
I mean, things are going to blow up at least, you know.
Yeah, at least
Oh,
you'll be
I
better
also-
than Rebel Moon.
yeah.
Not Matt Damon's in it, bro.
Is he?
In Civil War?
Not Matt Damon.
Oh,
Not
not
Matt
Matt Damon. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
no.
what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What kind of American
good
are
one.
you? Guys, with that being said, this has been Good Kraken's Death Ratio, your choice for all the nerdy video game news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. West Coast time, 10 p.m. East Coast time. If you liked what you heard, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services wherever you like to watch or listen. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Death Ratio and leaving a review there. We have to go, but until next time, live Sturgis title. What was that?
Oh my god.
What?
What?
Oh my god.
What'd you do?
Step
What
the
did I
wrong
do?
way and you will perish.